Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and tonight we have a very special guest. We have Sheepshead Bay great and St. Leo College legend and a member of their Basketball Hall of Fame. It's my pleasure to introduce Joey Magic Brauer. And oh yeah, this show is sponsored by Styles by Nita, Unique Creations, and this week's special sponsor is Voodoo Faye Art Shop, located on 572 Myrtle Avenue. Now let's get to the show.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. 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 Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. 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 East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Yeah. Pardon me too, whoever just trying to ring in. But tonight is my man Joey night, so no interruptions for nobody else. I'll get back to you later. Salute. What up, Joey?
How's it going, Glenn? What's good?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm doing well. Let me just show these people some love who are in the room. Love, people, love. Cool. So I'm waiting for my artist to come in. He's here. You know, he was definitely hyped. You got a nice piece back there he's working on.
No doubt.
Good. So, man, you know, I watch the show. You know, the first question always, man, who introduced you to the game?
Man, like growing up, my oldest sister, you know, she played basketball in New Jersey. So, you know, when she graduated high school, you know, we moved back to Brooklyn. And I just watched her shoot, and I loved watching her game. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna take her jump shot. I'm gonna add a lot more to it.
Oh yeah, you did, man. For a guy who, you know, who haven't seen you play up until a couple of days ago, all my guys, man, salute you and say, you know, you're definitely a real good baller, man, and the video shows, man. So definitely, man, glad to have you here.
Appreciate it, Glenn.
All right, where you grow up at in Brooklyn?
I grew up in Sheepshead Bay, man, the Sheepshead Nostrand housing projects out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost my mom and dad when I was young, so my grandma, she raised me, you know, and my sisters. You know, I had two older sisters, so, you know, growing up there, you know, just ball was all. That's all I did was just play ball every day. I was dribbling basketballs in the grass, dribbling here, dribbling there. I mean, everywhere I went, I had a ball in my hand, man.
Wow, man. Condolences on your parents too, man.
No doubt. Thank you.
No doubt. What was the first team you was on?
Probably my first team I ever played for was my junior high school, Shellbank, right next to Sheepshead Bay High School. I played on Shellbank in 8th grade. I was the smallest dude on the team. Smallest. I was like 5'5", probably until 10th grade. When we get into high school, I'll explain all that. But I was small. All the dudes were big. Everybody shot up, and then they never grew again. That's where I started slow and then caught up to most of them.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
So, you know, when I was in 8th grade, I got into the game. I'll never forget. It was like maybe 3 minutes left. We were getting blown out. They put me in. And I'll never forget the first shot I took from the baseline. It went in. And I felt like I was in like Hoosiers or something. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I won a title.
That's real, man.
That's when it started. Because baseball was my sport. Baseball was my sport. I loved baseball, you know? And being small, it was hard.
Right. You know what I'm finding out too? When I'm talking to a lot of ball players, basketball wasn't a lot of guys' first sport. You know, and you talk to guys today you know, they only played one sport. And I'm not knocking the dudes who only play one sport, right? But at the back in the days, a lot of guys played different sports to figure out which one kind of fit them. They wasn't kind of like following the trail.
Right.
You know?
Your parents always put you in Little League Baseball. So, you
Yeah.
know, that was something. Because we didn't have many basketball leagues as little kids like they
Right.
have these days. You know what I'm saying? You had to go out in the park and just get games going, you know? So I was just like, baseball is it. Shortstop, pitcher. I loved it. And I was small, so, you know, basketball was hard at first. So I always worked on dribbling. And I always said, you know what? If I pass the ball, they're going to want you on your team because everybody wants to score.
Right.
So I was like, yo, that's it. I'm going to be like Magic Johnson. He was my idol. So I started, and I wore 11 because Isaiah Thomas was my favorite, him and Magic. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pass and dribble like them, and everybody going to want me on their team, you know? And until I got, you know, a little bigger and taller and stronger, that's what I did, you know?
That's dope, man. So you grew up in the neighborhood. You went to junior high school in the neighborhood. You went to high school in the neighborhood. Like, you was, like, really becoming, like, the neighborhood hero at this time, but, like, building up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
At the time when you were in 8th grade, who's, like, the best player in your neighborhood?
When I was in 8th grade, my neighborhood and my projects, there was a few nice dudes, but none of that, they were older, so they already had, like, finished high school, and I don't even know if they played on the team, but, you know, you have those neighborhood dudes that just been in the hood, but they never really play organized. But, yo, in the park, nobody can stop them. You know what I'm saying? There was a few of those dudes. I'll give salute to, you know, I got to give love, a dude named Tony Harris. He went to Lincoln. I'm not sure if he ever, you know, played on a team, but, yo, dude would, you go to the park, light you up all day, hitting shots like, damn, he's a lot older than me, but I would look up to him. I'm like, this dude is nice. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
He was one dude. Then, you know, I would always hear names about other guys. I never really got to see them play because I was doing my own thing. So there was always other guys that were supposedly really good, you know?
Okay. So how did you finish up? Did you finish up doing well in junior high school?
Yeah, I finished up. I graduated. Then I went over to Sheepshead. Okay? Went over there in 9th grade. I was still small. The JV coach was a little, I mean, they went like 0-12. I didn't want to play JV and go 0-12.
Right,
and
right.
I wasn't big enough to play on the varsity yet. They had a lot of, you know, they were big, strong. I was like, I'm not ready for this. So 9th grade, I didn't play any sports. I didn't really do much. 10th grade came. I tried out for the basketball team, and I didn't make it. I got cut. I was like one of the last cuts. They had a decent team. They were pretty good. I was still very small. I was only about 5'6", going into my 10th grade year. Okay, I played JV baseball and pitched. I went like 7-0. I did real well in baseball. You know, I pitched well. And then my junior year, from my sophomore to my junior year, I shot up to about 5'11". I ended up at 6 foot, but I hit 5'11", and my sister bought me these strength shoes. I don't know if you remember them. They had the big platform in the front. You were always on your toes.
Yeah, to help you jump. Yes, definitely.
I wore those to the Y. I wore them in my projects. I mean, girls would look at me and they would look the other way, but yo, I had plans. I had to get my grandmother out the hood. So I was out there every day shooting, playing full courts in them. I was doing everything in the strength shoes. I went back to school the next year. Coach gave me the ball. I ran the point the next 2 years. I had 2 solid players on my team my junior year. A kid named Vincent Rogers. He was nasty. He was about 6'2". But, you know, back then, coaches used you for what was going to be best for them.
Right.
It was position basketball when we played. Now it's positionless. You know what I'm saying? So he was 6'2", and coach had him down in the post, so you know he wasn't going to college. You know what I'm saying? But he was nasty down there. So he had him, and we had this other kid, Kenny Wallace. He was nasty too. He was about 6'4". So with them, I had 2 scores, so I didn't have to score as much. I averaged 17 and 8 that year. You know, and we did well. We missed the playoffs by 1 game. Lafayette got in. We lost to New Utrecht, a game that was real important. Coach sat Kenny Wallace. That was our big dude, 6'4". Sat him because he missed like 2 classes that morning. So sat him the whole first half. We were down like 16. Dude plays in the second half, Kenny has like 3 dunks on. They had a big dude at New Utrecht called Ian Phillips. He was like 6'11". He went to Oklahoma State. He wasn't bad. But we ended up losing by 4. If we had him the whole game, we would have probably got in a tiebreaker with Lafayette or something. And we had a chance. So they graduated, okay? I end up going to BC All-Star Camp with all Grady's crew. All of them after my junior year. Went to 5-star camp in Holmesdale with Howard Garfinkel, Red Archery, Mashburn, all them dudes are there. I'm going there trying to, now it's my turn. It's my school. Nobody's back. I'm coming back. And everybody said, Joey, Sheepshead, your school is not really a basketball school. And I know that. They said the only way you're going to get looks, because nobody at Sheepshead in a long time that my coach is still there, like 35 years later, Roy Steinbach. This dude never taught at the school, but he taught at Cunningham. And he would come to school afterwards, but, scholarship letters, I would have to go into the office and pull them out for me. I would go grab them, man, on a sneak tip. I had to, because nobody's helping you. I feel bad for all the kids, but I have my sister who, those highlight tapes you saw, she made all those in high school for me because nobody was coming to Sheepshead. Nobody.
Wow.
So I salute my sister for getting everyone that did start to look at me from that tape. You know what I'm saying? So when I went into my senior year, I went to BC All-Stars, saw Fresh, Lou Johnson, all them dudes. Juju, that's my dude. All those dudes. Utmost respect. First off, I want to give love to Fresh for showing me love last week. Fresh was one of the toughest guys I ever played against, and I played against a lot of people. What was so tough about Fresh was that he was smaller than me. See, usually at my size, dudes were always taller, 6 foot.
Right.
6 foot. You got a 5'9" dude that's quick as you, and it's hard to go because he's going to come underneath you. I didn't like that. I didn't, man. It was tough. So I would have to try to raise up and get my jumper off quick. But he was a hell of a player. That whole squad was D1. The whole squad, all across the board. And love for all them. Juju, Darryl Mims, Spencer, Cooper. My man, rest in peace. Nobody ever guarded me. Till this day, tougher than Darryl Flickens. Rest in peace. Darryl Flickens.
Definitely. Salute.
When I was running with the Broncos, he would guard me every day, and I was like, damn, I would leave there bruised up, but he played hard. Back then, no blood, no foul. You know what I'm saying? And Doc Naselli was no joke. You played hard or you was leaving. So, the Broncos was no joke.
Yo, brother, this is why we brothers for life, because I'm a Bronco head too. Facts.
Yeah. No doubt.
86 and 87.
No doubt, man. I went to 89. 89, just that one year, going into my senior year. I said, I'm going to get exposed. I did Tiger Ball. I did Broncos. And I never really stayed in my neighborhood because not many people were playing in my projects. So I just ventured out, Big Apple games at Murrow, Springfield Gardens out there in Queens. I was all over. Manhattan Beach, Marine Park. Wherever I could get some run, I was out from 8 in the morning, probably like you, till 8 at night. Go home for a bologna sandwich, a 25-cent sugar water, and back out on the court. That was it. That was it, man.
The life of a baller, man. For sure.
That's it.
For sure.
Man. That's
so
it.
you averaging, right now you averaging 27.5?
Yeah, so I get into my senior year, and everyone was like, for you to go to college out of Sheepshead, you're going to have to score more. So the first 3 games of the season, I put up 110 points. I was player of the week. I was averaging like 30-something. There was only one player at that time averaging more, kid from Van Arsdale, Jermaine Smoke. He was averaging like 30-something from like his sophomore year on. I never got to play Van Arsdale, never saw the dude. But he was putting up big numbers all over. It was crazy. But so I put up those numbers, and then my coach was like, yo, Joey, we're 2-1, you're doing your thing, but try to get more people involved. I said, all right. So we go to Canarsie. Okay, we travel to Canarsie. I said, all right. I only took 13 shots that game. I said, all right, we're going to see. Took 13 shots. I was 9. I'll never forget. I was 9 for 13 at 27. Still got my average, and we lost by 20. I went to him after the game. I said, you still want me to pass? I said, you still want me to pass more? He didn't say nothing, and I just went on a tear. I mean, I put up 45 against Staten Island Academy. Lincoln and Grady, they always blew us out. I ain't going to front. I can't lie. They got more talent. They were a better team, better coached. But, I mean, I got mine. I had 34 against Lincoln. I always put up big numbers, 30 against Grady, at Grady. Funny story. All love for Grady. When we were going to Grady, all my boys, you know, that they come from the bus, from Flatbush, all over, they're like, Joey, yo, they said they're going to kill you when you come out there. I was like, word, I can't wait to come out there. I can't wait. I'm starting to fume like, yes, I love this. Anybody that knows me, my game is all talking, but I back it up. But I'm mentally, and I'm coming at you, and I'm trying to get into your head. So we go over there, and I think it's on that highlight tape, a lot of the highlights in that tape. I mean, I'm over there doing my thing. I mean, they blew us out, no doubt. But all my points, they come in the regular game. They don't come in garbage time. You know what I'm saying? But, yo, Hector, Ephraim, utmost. Ephraim's nasty. I mean, 6'5", he should have been in the league, to be honest. A 6'5", point guard. Him and Juju, I mean, those are guys, we're in the same grade, but those are guys I still looked up to. You know what I'm saying? I'll never tell them that then, but those are guys, when I went to sleep, I was like, yo, those dudes are nasty. You know what I'm saying? Those dudes are the dudes. Yo, Juju is my dude, you know?
Right.
I want to get him, but deep down I'm looking like, damn, that's Norman. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. That was that guy, you know? From the first day he went to BC All-Stars when he was a freshman, that put him on. He was nationally known all over the country. I mean, he signed with Tennessee. He was supposed to play with Allen Houston, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, things didn't pan out, whatever. But, you know, utmost respect, Lincoln, Grady. So I was putting up big numbers, and then colleges started coming through. You know, the top ones on the list, Adelphi out in Garden City, a good D2 program. Clarion was the biggest. Clarion was recruiting me, James Hector, but he went to American International. They really wanted Hector. But when they didn't get Hector, they wanted me and my man who ended up going there. We went there together. I went there as a freshman. I'll explain what happened. Me and Kwame Morton, he went to Lafayette.
I was going to mention him when you was talking about Lafayette. I played against his brother Omar and Tiny was my point guard, so I'm real cool with the family.
Kwame and me went together. We were roommates at Clarion. We went together. It was a package deal. Only two cats from New York in the school. 6 hours from Brooklyn, Clarion, Pennsylvania. Kwame's still mad at me to this day for leaving, but I'll explain that in a few minutes. Because I tell him, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have married your wife because you wouldn't have went to Clarion. So he said, all right, I'll let it go. All right, so I went to Clarion. You know, me and Kwame were together in the backcourt. I started the first 6 games. I got homesick. My grandmother, who I got out the projects, my sisters called me and said, we're moving out of Florida. And I started crying. I was like, no, don't do this. I can't. That's a plane ride away. We don't got money like that to fly me back and forth. And I started getting homesick. And I mean, literally, I couldn't get out of bed at Clarion for like a month. And I was like, yo, something's wrong. I thought something was wrong with my heart. I didn't know what it was. So at Christmas time, I flew home. They flew me to Florida. And they was like, Joe, you going back. You going back. You didn't work this hard to give up. I was like, no, I promise I'll get a scholarship. I'll go somewhere in Florida. I promise. They was like, no, they flew me back. So I go back to Clarion. Within 2 weeks, I'm calling them collect. You got to collect call from Joe. Click. I'm like, come on, man, answer this thing. So they answered, and I was like, oh, I promise I'll get into a school. They said, all right, you could fly back. So I signed out of Clarion. I was sad. I mean, it was a great opportunity, but you know, everything happens for a reason, you know, and I believe that. So I flew down to West Palm Beach to my sister and my grandmother down there. And my sister started taking me to Palm Beach Community College every day from January till March. And I was running with the team in practice, but I wasn't on the team. I didn't enroll in the school. And the coach there, that's my man, Scott Pospical. He played at Florida Southern College in Lakeland. Florida Southern, St. Leo, University of Tampa, a great Division II conference, just like Clarion, a great conference as well. 2 of the top conferences in the country for D2. So he sent my videotapes to St. Leo, University of Tampa, Florida Southern, and St. Leo brought me up there, and they said, it's your show. So I went there for 3 years. I lost the year eligibility because I played in more than 20%. They only played like 22 games that year, and I played in 6, so I lost that year. So that messed me up. So I went to St. Leo, and I played 3 years there, and it was a hell of a ride, man. Hell of a ride.
Wow. You know, the first guy who kind of put me on your radar was my guy, Arthur Lee Walker. He talked about you a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And, you know, it was like, you hear so many names, it's like, okay. So when Fresh brought you up and we kind of connected, he was like, yo, that's the Joey I was talking about. I'll tell you about Joey a couple of weeks ago. It's crazy. All right. Now, before I know we're in the college area, but I need to know this.
Yes, sir.
And there's no disrespect to anybody else.
Right.
Who ass did you bust when you was in high school to let you know you was fucking ready for college?
I think everybody, to be honest. I ain't gonna front. I mean, they boxing 1s, triangling 2s. Nobody guarded me straight up. They had to. I mean, when they playing for Sheepshead, they boxed me every night, and I still dropped 27.5 every night.
Lincoln too.
Every night. I mean, the toughest players, because I don't want to brag, but the toughest players. The only 2 point guards that I would say that were in Brooklyn that was a problem was Lamont Jones, which Lamont was serious. I won't ever front. He was serious. And Fresh. I mean, Juju didn't play the point. He was a point guard, but they had Derek Cooper on him. He couldn't stop me. What's funny is my mentor, everyone got one of those dudes that comes and follows them everywhere.
Yes.
You know, I had these old dudes that would come to all my games, take me to all my tryouts because my grandmother couldn't get around. So they took me everywhere. I had a guy, let him rest in peace, Larry Rafsky, just passed away about 3 months ago. He's been my right-hand man, taking me to all my tryouts from wheelchair classics to everything. And he met Norman's dad, you know, Donnie Sr., when we played Lincoln my junior year. And he was like, boy, I wish I had him playing with Juju. I mean, what I would have loved, and the big-time schools would have came if I was at a bigger school. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
When they started seeing me was when I got Player of the Week and all that. But that was just in New York. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, a lot of us, Fresh, all of us, we're ahead of our time. You too. With all this social media and all this, we'd all be.
Yo, brother, let me explain something to you. Right now, you averaging 27 and 10 in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where you at. They coming to find you.
And that was the best in 1990. In 1990, if you look in the papers back then, that was the best class they said in over 25 years. Probably the best class ever. I mean,
yeah, my man Joe, he's a historian from Massachusetts in Boston, Massachusetts. And he just put down there the PSAL and the CHSAA, the Catholic School League. 1990 was one of the dopest classes ever.
Crazy.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, just the talent all over was nuts. And I mean, and to be in the mix with all those names was just great to me. You know, I wasn't one of those guys that said, hey, I want to go D1. I was a late bloomer. So I was just happy to get a scholarship, you know what I mean? And go somewhere and be that guy. Because I was being recruited by low D1s like Sienna, Maris. They were low. And at 6 foot, at that time, I only weighed about 150 pounds soaking wet. You know, back then, we didn't lift weights in high school.
Yeah.
They told us, you lift weights, you ain't going to grow no more. That's what I was told. You know? So I didn't lift anything, you know?
Oh, man. I told my guy, I was going to mention him. You know, I had to put the picture up. Junie's my guy, right? Been my friend for a long time. Me and his cousin best friends. And he said, yo, please ask Joey about our gym class time.
Yo, I'll tell you right now. I was in Junie's, I think, 2 grades higher. Now, Junie, Rodney was nice. I would go into the locker room. I was young. I would come into the gym, and I would just watch A-Court. I was little. Remember, I was only like 5'5" at that time. So I would watch him. Yo, when I watch basketball now, I tell him he reminds me of Dame Lillard. He was so calm and smooth with it. you know, you find those dudes that never tried out for the team, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why didn't they play? Why didn't this dude play? But you don't know what's behind it. You know,
Yeah.
maybe his mom's working. He got to be home with another. You don't know. You don't know. But that's a dude that was a diamond in the rough that could have been something special, for sure. That's my guy.
Yeah, he gave me an idea for a show. You know, I just call them Gym Class Assassins because we had them at Lincoln too. My freshman year, I couldn't believe I made the team. We didn't have a JV, it was only varsity. But I know for a fact it was guys way better than me because I watched the whole tryout.
Right,
And
right.
again, you don't know the behind the scenes story. You don't know of his grades. You don't know of his discipline. We have no idea. But those guys do exist in every school.
Right, you're right. And then some of them, Rodney was great. He stayed in school. Then you'll see some, they'll be there for like 2 months. All of a sudden, they're out of school. I'm like, where'd this dude go? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. Yeah.
Okay. You know,
That's
another
right.
dude, I always want to ask what happened to the one dude. There was this dude who played at Fez Academy, Sam Wilson. I don't know if y'all know this dude. He used to jump out the gym, man. He played at Fez back in like 89, 90. Unbelievable, man. And then the dudes, all the Catholic school teams were great too. Nazareth, Rob Phelps, Marcus, Scott. Those are all my dudes. They were Brick House is my man from Bishop Ford. I mean, the list goes on. Keith Hanley at Zavarian, the white dude, lefty. I mean, the list is
So,
crazy.
what's his name? What's his name again?
With Keith Hanley. He was a lefty. But James Brickhouse.
My guy went to Zavarian, so we're going to definitely check that out. And I want to get Sam Wilson as well because I'm very close with Coach Atkins, and I think he probably coached him.
You got to know Sam, yeah, for sure. Sam was nice. Right.
All right, so we at St. Leo now, right?
Yeah.
And you right on point because when I watched your coach speak about you, he said the guy talk a lot of smack, but he can back it up. Right? How was those 3 years for you there?
Man, first off, it was between St. Leo and a few other schools. But when I saw that St. Leo play Georgetown, I said, I'm going there. I'm going there. I got something to do here. You know, because that game's on national, like Sunshine Network.
Right.
ESPN highlights. And I'm the type of dude, no matter who I'm playing, even if my team's, you know, outnumbered, I'm going to do my thing. You're going to remember who I am. I promise. So we went to Georgetown my first year. Now, you got to think, it's only my 6th game in the season of my career, 12th, because I only played 6 at Clarion. So really, I'm a freshman. Because even though I'm a sophomore, academically and sports-wise, I'm really a freshman. So first we played Stetson, a D1 school.
Oh, definitely.
Played Stetson, I had 29. They had a kid named Mark Brisker. He had like 42. I think he went to the league. He was a backup a little bit, then went overseas. Okay, I had 29 and like 12 assists. That's when my coach said, wow, we got a serious player here, you know? And then we went to Georgetown. I had another kid on my team who was the man. He was a senior, okay, from Kentucky. He was the man. So we get there. He's the 2 guard. I'm the point guard. We go into the Capitol Center. It was the Cap Center then. San Antonio was in town. They were staying in the same hotel as us. Lloyd Daniels was there.
Ha!
Playing.
Sweet.
Talk might have been the coach of the Spurs. Someone was. I don't remember all of it, but he was there. And I said, "What's up?" to him. And we played at the Cap Center. And maybe the first minute of the game, I'm coming off the dribble, and I go right at Lonzo, and I shoot it. I miss it, but I say M1, and I start talking to him. Yo, he gathers all his dudes around, and I see he's mad, and I'm like, yeah, come with it. My coach calls a timeout. I was like, Joey, what are you doing? I was like, what are you talking about? What am I doing? They ain't used to the Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I'm here in the South, but I'm not changing for nobody. That's how I play. So we go back out in the court. Lonzo has like 11 blocks. He didn't block not one of my shots. I guarantee he didn't block. You won't find that anywhere. But he didn't block none of mine. I scored they got like 13 and 5. You know, and I was doing my thing. They had Joey Brown and Irvin Church, Robert Churchwell. They had a good team, good guards, you know. And
He didn't block your shot once?
Huh? He
didn't block.
Lonzo didn't block my shot not one time. Robert Churchwell, I took him to the hole. I wasn't worried. And they even said during the game on the announcement, they said something like Georgetown's like a top 10 defensive team. but Joey Brauer's having no trouble breaking the press. It's his teammates. And I love my teammates, but that's a different level. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing against that. I didn't feel I was at a different level. I felt I could compete on any level, any night. I D1, it don't matter. You put me with those players, I'm going to do my thing regardless. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the physical size yet, but, you know, as I got into my sophomore and junior year, I became 6 foot 165. Not the biggest, but big.
That's what it was.
That's it.
It was your heart.
That's it.
You know, your heart put you in spaces that sometimes your size and your game can't, right? And your heart just take you to another level.
That's it.
When you're in that moment, right? You're going up against Alonzo, and I seen this play, and you square up and you get knocked to the ground. Is that at that point when you start talking to him?
Yeah.
Was that the point?
When he knocked me down, I said M1. I said M1.
Ah.
I said M1, and then I fell down. And then I got up, you know, shrugging at Brooklyn. I still had that Brooklyn in me really bad then. You know, I matured a little bit as the years went on, but then I was still all Brooklyn. And I kept coming, and the fans. I'll tell you, so you know, they ended up beating us by like 40. They killed us. I mean, they were back then they were a top 10 team. They had him. Then the next they had who else did they have? I didn't get to play against Matumbo. He was the year before. But then after Lonzo left, we went back the next year, and Othello Harrington was a freshman. Okay, they had Othello. He ended up playing for the
Was Dave Edwards? Dave Edwards wasn't there?
Dave Edwards left when I came. He would have been there, but he already transferred to Texas A&M, I think.
Got you.
Let him rest in peace. Yeah,
yes, definitely, my God. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave was sick. Dave was sick with it, man. Sad. That Corona's no joke, man. Sad. But Dave was my guy. Nasty. So
yeah, so go ahead. You just continue the story.
No. So that went great. Then we come back, you know, and then we start getting into conference play. Start opening up people's eyes because nobody knew who I was. I wasn't from here. I was from Brooklyn. Not many Division II schools are recruiting kids from Brooklyn, New York. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They can get the same kids in Florida, they feel, for cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So they got me because I was moving out here and I came. And so we went to a school, Rollins College in Orlando. Okay? Rollins College, I'll never forget it. They had all these fans, real, like, very, very preppy school, kind of like the Harvard of Florida, you know? I ain't never seen a white dude like this, so it was crazy. So I come in there. Now, I'm serious, it was crazy. So I come in there, they got like one brother on the team and shit, you know? So I'm like, okay, all right. I feel like I'm in Staten Island right now, back in the day. So I come in there, and I go to work. That big dude, he look like Sinbad. So I go and I'm on a fast break, and he undercuts me. Yo, he undercuts me, and I get the N1, and yo, I almost lost it, but I didn't. But the fans saw me say something to him. Every time I touched the ball, the next 2 years, and every time I came there, they had signs, and it was like part of their fraternity and sorority to get initiated to taunt me. It was my best games were there. I love it. I didn't know. If you shut up, the only way to stop me, shut up. Just let me talk. If you talk back to me, it gets me going. It's crazy.
How much did you have that game? How much did you have that game? How much did you have that game?
I had like 17 and 12. In college, I didn't score much. I was more of a facilitator. I think I was 12th in the country my junior year, averaged 7.5 assists a game. So I was more, you know, in college, you know what I'm saying? You go down unless you're that, you know, scoring machine. But I always wanted to be a point guard. Pass first, make somebody score. That made me, like Magic Johnson, that made me happy. But for me in high school, my senior year, in order for me to get known, I had to put up those numbers. I had to. But I'd rather, you know, when I played in leagues, still to this day, I'm putting up 30, 40 in leagues. But when I'm in a college game, I'd rather give that pass and hook somebody up because you got better players with you. They're on scholarship, so you know they can play.
Right. So who's some of the guys that was in your team?
In college, I brought 2 kids from Brooklyn with me. What happened was, when they brought me my sophomore year, I told my coach, yo, we got to get some better players here. I said, I got 2 dudes at I had 3 at Fulton Montgomery, upstate New York. Fulton Montgomery had a kid from Midwood High School. His name was Chris Skyers. And then I had my boy Jason Hammond, Gel. He played at South Shore. So I said, yo, let's bring them down. And Prospect Heights had a kid named Charles Branwell. So they brought all three down. They brought all three down, and they wanted all three. But what was crazy is my coach got fired right after the season, after they were about to sign all three. And they brought in a new coach, and he only brought 2 of them. So they didn't bring Charles. He didn't want to bring all 3. He thought too many New Yorkers together would be bad for the school. You know how it goes. So they brought them 2. So us 3 played together. And then my man came. We had a great Division I transfer. His name was Chris Ward. He's from Sarasota, Florida. His son played at, just finished playing college ball and had an opportunity. He was going to maybe get drafted, but with everything that just went on, messed him up. So he just signed to go to Germany.
Okay.
Chris knows everybody, man. He does a basketball thing out here like I do. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But that, you know, so those were the dudes that I played with. You know, when I left Clarion, St. Leo, it was a perfect fit. Everything worked out. Got my degree in physical education. Then I had an offer to go. See, I'm half Jewish. So that worked out because I was a high school Jewish All-American. And then when I went to St. Leo, I was a college All-American Jewish. So I had an offer to go over to play in Tel Aviv, in the Maccabea, and play there. I had an agent in Jacksonville. His name was Mitch Smith. He had me signed, sealed, and delivered. I was ready to go. 6 months, played 1 game a week, practiced twice a week. Last minute, I had my passport, my sister, let's go. I backed out. I said, if I couldn't make it at Clarion away from Nanny, that's my grandmother, how am I going to make it in another country? When back then, in 94, we didn't even have cell phones yet.
Right.
There wasn't anything. So how am I going to talk to my grandmother? How am I going to be able to communicate? So I let that go, you know. And I know I could have went overseas. I could have played. Many of us could have and had long careers over there. A lot of us did. You know what I'm saying? And
Yo, brother, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Everything happens. I have no regrets. The game is still blessing me to this day, you know? But before we move forward, I got to give love to my man, Pat Alphonse. Pat Alphonse, I used to deliver the newspapers in Brooklyn. That's how I helped my grandmother put food on the table for me. Because, you know, she was on a fixed income, Social Security, retired. I would deliver newspapers to eight buildings in my projects. I would cross over the roofs in the morning just to get to the other side. 6 in the morning. She would help roll up the papers on Sunday. You remember the New York Daily News? You had to put in all the sections, the comics, the this, the that.
Right.
So I would read the paper every day. I was a student of the game. I loved to read it. Bill Travers would write the stories. Frank
Bill Travers, definitely. Yeah.
That was that dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would read. I was like, Pat Alphonse this, Pat Alphonse that. I was like, this dude's nice. I want to meet this dude. But he graduated when I was a sophomore. So I wasn't on the team yet. So I went to St. Leo, and my man Chris Skyers, you know, said, yo, he said, I know Pat Alphonse. He used to date Mary J. Blige. I was like, stop lying. I was like, and then now me and Pat got connected on Facebook years ago, and yo, this dude knows everyone. I'm like, this dude is the man. So Pat and me became really tight. And he was down here a couple years ago for the Women's Finals 4. And I met him at the hotel. We kicked it. I was supposed to meet him at an after party. He had me all hooked up, but the weather, something happened. I couldn't make it. But me and him got to get together soon. But he knows everybody, man. And through him and through others, I was able to meet Kenny Anderson, which was always my favorite point guard, you know, in New York City. You know, that's the dude everybody wanted to be like. You know?
That's right. Yeah.
And I met Kenny down in Miami. I went to his wife does a cancer charity thing. And I went down there and I ran with him and my boy DeCarlo, who hooked it up. And that's when I met Kenny. And I was balling. Kenny was a little out of shape. I ain't gonna front. But I was doing it. I was running everything. We were doing it. And then Kenny invited me to the Bahamas to do a camp with him at the Y out in the Bahamas.
Wow.
To be able to go with someone that you looked up to and idolized and be there in the trenches and do a camp with him over in the Bahamas. I mean, all my dreams this game has blessed me with. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
It's been an amazing journey. Met Rod Strickland. met, you know, because he coached at USF over here, right here in Tampa. Got to meet him, kicked it with him a little bit. So I mean, it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing.
That's right. Salute to my guy, Pat All Farts, down with the basketball head family for sure.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Yeah, so during your time at St. Leo, did you ever feel like, damn, I could have played Division One?
Yeah, I knew it the whole time.
Okay.
Back then it was not. But when we were living back then, you remember, you played in that era. Once you got to school, you were there, and nothing else was around. We didn't have all the social media to see, yo, this dude's doing that. I only knew where dudes went when it was signed and it was put in the papers. Once we dispersed and we all went our own ways, we didn't see each other till either the next summer or until you heard from someone, yo, did you hear he transferred to here? Or no one knew I left Clarion and went to St. Leo. It wasn't.
Right.
Now you hear when someone posts, yo, I'm signing here. Or yo, I'm leaving here and going there. So unless I was going to the D1 schools, I was like, yo, that low D1 didn't mean nothing. Nobody saw it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't on Sports Center. And I knew I couldn't go big time D1 because of my size at that time and just exploded my senior year. When you come into your senior year, those big time schools are already looking at you. Unless you grow 5-6 inches that year and you're 6'5", 6'6". You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't on that radar. And that's all good. Do I feel like I could have competed with all those dudes? For sure. But I mean, I wouldn't have been in the Hall of Fame at St. Leo if I went D1.
Listen, brother, let me tell you this. You know, there's been a lot of guys who were like McDonald All-Americans. Those guys who went to big schools like Duke, North Carolina, Kansas. A lot of them didn't have careers like you, fam.
Appreciate that.
Right? They can say I was All-American, I played a McDonald All-American game.
Right.
But when they went to college, can they say I had a career that's similar to Joey Brauer?
Right.
It's guys that's been on these teams that been the last end of the bench who thought they was going to the NBA.
Right.
Right? So you never know how your story's going to end up.
Right.
You just got to put yourself in a position to make it happen. And you did that, brother. So, you know, whether it's Division 2, 1, 3, people know your name. And you made history.
That's it, man.
For sure.
I appreciate it. That's it.
Yeah. So, how you been keeping up with New York City basketball?
Yeah, I follow it a lot because I'm still in the realm of, you know, being involved in the game a lot. Basically, I raised my daughter basically solo, you know, since she was 8, since I divorced, you know, and she's going on 20 now. She's in college. My number one priority was to make sure I raised her. And, you know, me not having a mom and dad, I was like, you know what? I got to be this guy. You know, God gave me a daughter for a reason. He didn't give me a son. There was a reason for that. So I got to take this girl under my wing, and I got to make sure she does the right thing in life. So I've been a PE teacher now going into my 23rd year here in my county in Tampa. And I always wanted to do basketball and give back. But to coach basketball and things like that takes a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm raising my daughter, I couldn't coach high school. I couldn't do that. So I started my own basketball training thing. It's called Brauer Hoops Clinic. I'm going to send you a shirt. I'm going to get your address later. I'm going to send you a shirt.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All of them got a shirt. They rock it all the time. So I'm training kids out here, you know, every day right now. Every day. Since the pandemic kind of slowed down a little and they put the courts back up, I mean, it's a great outlet for these parents to give their kids something to do again. You know what I'm saying? I love kids. Kids are everything to me.
That's
so I go
right.
out there, I train them, I work with them, you know, and just build their confidence and self-esteem. We didn't have that. All I had was those strength shoes. I didn't have nobody. I would call my buddies, my best friend Stan. I was like, yo, Stan, let's go outside and play. Sometimes them dudes didn't want to play.
Right,
you know?
right.
So I just want to give back and give the kids that these days they don't have as much opportunity as we had. You know what I'm saying? The parents shelter them. Life is totally different now. It's scarier, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So what are some of the things you do for yourself to stay in shape?
Oh man, training these kids. I still play. I play in the Y League about a year ago before this pandemic hit. I play in this JCC league. It's 35 and over. You know, I'm still doing them like 35 a game, letting them know. Still letting them know. Still getting texts every night.
Still letting them know.
Still getting texts thrown out of games. It is what it is, man. The love for the game don't change. You know, it don't. It don't. Off the court, totally different. On the court, I'm trying to kill. That's it. Until I die or until God says I can't do it anymore, that's how I'm gonna go. I go 100 or I don't go. You know, that's it. That's it.
So what's all this experience you have in the game, did you pass it down to your daughter, Eddie?
She played. What happened was when she was in middle school, I coached her. Since she was at that middle school and her school hours were the same as mine, because I teach elementary, I would go over to the middle school and I coached her. She ran the point for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. She had the court awareness. She saw the court just like her father. She did all that. Small, but she didn't have to dive for balls. She was more of a girly girl. So by the time she got to high school, I'm not that dad to push. A lot of these parents push. You're going to do this. They want them to be like you. No, you do what you want to do.
That's right.
What you want to do. I'm not going to be that father that gets on you. So by the time she's 21, she hates me. You know what I'm not going to be that dude.
Right.
So she got into high school and she was like, yo, Dad. I was like, you going to go to tryouts? I know the coach. He said he's ready for you. She would kind of like beat around the bush. And I was like, you don't have to. You know, you don't have to give me an excuse. You don't have to. You do what you like to do. So she faded away from the game. No problem. I ain't going to push it on her. So now she's at college. She's at FAU in Boca Raton. She's a sophomore this year. She's studying to be a teacher. She wants to be a 2nd grade teacher. So my goal, my number one thing to finish here is for her to graduate college and to just go to my school and teach for 1 year with her dad. If she does that, my life's complete. I'm done.
You want the LeBron Bronny thing, right? Just come work with Dad for a couple of days.
Yeah.
1 year, 1 year.
Coach Brauer and Mrs. Brauer. And the kids be like, that's your dad or that's your wife? I'm like, nah, I know I look good, but no, that's my daughter. I'm stupid, man.
That's real. That's real. So, getting back to ball real quick, right?
Yes,
I need three players. The best high school, college, and pro you ever played against.
Best players. Okay. Best pro I ever played against, I would say, was out here, Chucky Atkins. He played at USF and he played for the Magic for a while.
Yes.
See, people don't understand how tough the NBA is. Because I played against him and I was only 27. I was still in my prime. And this dude was quick as lightning. And he didn't play. He played good. He played for the Magic. He got some burn, you know, but he was more of a backup in the league. So when all my boys tell me, Joe, you should have been in the NBA, I'm like, yo, y'all don't know the game, man. This is
right.
sport, man.
Yes, definitely.
But they look up to you because you've been that dude in that hood. So they think if you don't go to the NBA, you're a bust.
Right.
It ain't like that, man. It ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, so I would say Chucky was number one. In college, had a kid at FIT out here, Florida Institute of Technology. His name was Peter Walcott from Canada. Yo, 6-foot guard. He went through us, he set a screen on me, went through and cocked it on my 7'7". This kid was nasty. He was the best point guard I played in college. In high school, I mean, there's so many. I can't give one to. Lamont was nasty. Fresh, Juju, Ephraim, Kwame. Let me think. There was a kid from South Shore that was nice, Emeka Smith. He was older than me. Emeka was nice. He was older than me, so he graduated when I was a sophomore, but that was my guy. I used to like watching him play. And my sophomore year, I got to watch Canarsie play Sheepshead. I wasn't on the team. And the kid, Jeffrey Martin, that kid was nasty. Jeffrey Martin was his name. I never saw anybody at that time that could go right and left as good as he could. And I was only a sophomore. You know, as I grew, I would have did my thing on him, but he was older. You know, that's what I looked up to. You know, I watched Tiny. He was nice. Shake from Lafayette was nice. But those guys, I was a freshman. You know, I was just being a student of the game. You know, waiting my turn.
That's
but
right.
Those guys were all good. Lafayette, Kwame was the man. I mean, Lou Johnson, great shooter. When I think of shooters, I think of Lou Johnson, Kwame, Rob Phelps. I mean, those guys were in a different planet. Mike Spencer was a great shooter. I mean,
Mike Spencer. Hey, listen. Somebody shout out to Mike Spencer for sure. It's my guy.
Dude.
Yeah. So, one more question, man. You know, this is what we ask the guests. Who would they like to nominate to be on the show? You don't have to answer now, but think about it. But if you have somebody you'd like to nominate to be on the show, you know, who you think would like to be?
Kwame. I don't know if you had Kwame Morton on yet.
That's another one Arthur said. He said, you ain't Kwame.
Kwame, I'll tell you about him. He stayed at Clarion, became the all-time leading scorer in that conference history. Averaged 32.5 his senior year, #1 scorer in D2. He could have stayed overseas, but I think, you know, his girl and everything came back. But I would go in the gym with him at Clarion. Me and him would shoot around. Yo, we would have one ball, and we'd go in the gym and shoot. I would have to wait about 15 minutes to get the ball before he would miss. I was like, yo,
yeah, his jump shot was crazy.
It ain't even fun. Yeah, he was the best shooter I ever played with in my life, ever.
Yo, P. Moore, give Mike Spencer my information. We gonna get him on, for sure. We gonna do that, man. Listen, Joe, it was a pleasure having you on, man. I know my guy, he's still working on the joint right now. So I'm gonna show you a little.
Yeah, let me see it, man. Oh, that's dope. Dope.
That's the name, right, Magic? Yeah, Magic. Yeah, all right.
That's butter. Nice. Love that. Wow. Very talented, my man.
Yeah. My guy.
Wow.
My guy went to Andrew Jackson, Jamel Powell, played for Coach Granby, and he's also an artist.
Yeah, wow, he's amazing, man. Thank you. That's beautiful, my man.
For sure. Listen, I always say this. They are all coming out soon. Trust me, I'm sending them all out. But we just get some things tight. But everyone, please, when you get the pictures, I just need everyone to do like a small 30-second video saying, you know, I was on Basketball Head. That's all we ask.
Got you.
You know. Listen, brother, it's been a pleasure. You're a great storyteller, great interview, man. You answered a lot of questions. I didn't have to answer, man. You answered a lot of questions just through your conversation. Definitely want to give you your crown and let you know, brother, you definitely a Brooklyn King for sure. And we like to salute you, man.
Thank you, my man. Thank you, Glenn, so much. I'm gonna get you your I'm gonna text you so I can get you a shirt out. You and your man. For sure.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, brother.
All right, my man.
All right.
Much love, baby.
No doubt. Joey Brauer, let's give it up. Get some thumbs. Let's get some thumbs up for my man Joey Brauer, man. For sure, man. I appreciate this interview, brother.